Today let's talk about the advantages of in-cell displays. Before we discuss in-cell, let's quickly break down the structure of a traditional LCD. At the bottom we have the TFT layer, which is the liquid crystal display layer. Above the TFT layer, we usually use OCA or OCR to laminate the touch panel to the display. On top of that, there is the touch sensor layer, which is responsible for detecting touch. Then above the sensor, there is another layer of OCA, and finally the cover glass on the very top. The cover glass protects the sensor and the touch panel. So this is the typical structure of a traditional LCD touch display. Now let's look at the structure of an in-cell display. At the bottom we still have the TFT layer. Above that there is an OCA layer, and directly on top of it is the cover glass. Compared with the traditional structure, several components are removed. First, one OCA lamination layer is removed. Second, the touch sensor layer is removed. And because of that, the design also eliminates the touch controller IC and the sensor FPC. So what does this mean? The biggest advantage of in-cell is cost reduction. For the same size display with touch, an in-cell solution can typically reduce the cost by at least 20%. And the larger the size, the more obvious the cost advantage becomes. Since several layers are removed, the product also becomes thinner. At the same time, the optical transmission improves, which means better display performance. Another benefit that many people don't realize is that the optical bonding effect can actually be better. Because there are fewer layers in the middle, the color of the AA area becomes easier to control, and it's easier to tune the color of the cover glass. And the AA area is extremely important for the overall display appearance. So to summarize the advantages of in-cell: first, lower cost; second, a thinner product; third, higher transmittance and better display performance. But does in-cell have disadvantages? Yes, it does. The biggest challenge is the debugging difficulty. The TFT layer now needs to handle both display control and touch sensing. That means the IC tuning capability has to be very strong, especially when integrating with different customer main boards. The tuning may need to be done again for different platforms. So when is in-cell the right choice? First, when the project has large volume production, because cost reduction becomes very meaningful. Second, when the engineering and debugging capability is strong enough. If you are interested in in-cell display solutions, feel free to follow us and contact us.